Welcome to episode number 26 of the Eavesdrop podcast. Today we are with one of my favorite people in the world.
You're just saying
and
that.
I am not afraid to say it, Hutch.
You're just saying
I
that.
look into your eyes and look at me. Mm-hmm. You are one of my favorite people on this world.
Top 10 or
you
top,
looked away.
top 10 or top 3?
Well, I have...
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Top 10?
Top 10 isn't...
Top 15.
Top 15? That's, I mean, you know a lot of people.
I do.
So I would say that that's pretty good stature.
Where do I rank up in your favorite people of all time?
Of all time, like people that I haven't even met? Maybe top 50. Like, but you're saying you've expanded that to everybody all throughout history.
No, I didn't. I just... People
you
that you know.
Oh, people I know? Yeah, top 50.
All right. Well, today, Sean Hutchinson. Very, very cool gamer tag. Very creative. What made you come up with it?
My last name's Hutchinson, and my dad went by Hutch.
Yeah.
And Tyler Doherty in 6th grade, we were playing basketball, and he called me Hutch. And then from that point on, everybody else called me Hutch, and that's the story.
I like it.
There's nothing else to it.
I don't think I could ever call you Sean. I've never called you Sean. Sometimes I call... Wait, who was it? Like Big T, I don't call him Will.
If you called me Sean, I would assume that you were upset about something.
Sean?
That I was going to get a stern talking to.
Again. Your cat's on top of that thing. See, that's one of the many reasons why I don't mess with cats. Because they climb on shit that they're not supposed to.
See, now I thought I wasn't a cat person until I was a freshman in college. And then my suite mates adopted a cat.
Yeah.
And then they're super independent. They have their own distinct personalities. And they make you work for their affection. But dogs are great too. I like them both equally.
Jesus. Where'd you find him? Just kidding.
She found him at a shelter in Florida.
Chuck. It's the new name, Chucky. His name is Lucky. Hutch, I am so thankful that you made the time to sit down with me. I am. Because I know you're a busy guy.
Don't say that, man. You don't think that.
I don't mean it.
I'm a busy guy. Thank you very much.
No, you are. No, I agree. So one of the, yes, we're friends. I love talking to you. I love having conversations with you, but just about anything in the world. One of my great wishes in life is to one day be in the same city as you, to where we can have I was going to go with a podcast together. I was going to say a heterosexual relationship that will maybe become a little bit more, but I wasn't. I'm just going to keep it professional and say that a podcast.
You're in California. It's fine.
It's fine everywhere, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if you agree or disagree with that, but I'm okay.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
My political beliefs are shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, well, the political beliefs are going to come like right down in... I don't know, like in minute number 20, I will get to it. But so from the beginning, I consider you and anybody who has been around since 2008.
2008, yeah.
Yeah, so 2008, I consider you like the first of your kind superstar.
It was like me, like I was like one of like a pack of like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were the one that like sort of changed the game in my opinion, to where like everybody came, like it was you from a commentator's perspective in gaming. Because up until that point, what was gaming? Like we weren't even showing matches. It was just like montages and that. It was you. I mean, there were some full gameplays, but to music, nobody had. Or nobody made it popular enough.
Xcal and Blame Truth and there's probably a bunch of other people I'm forgetting here, but those are two people that they were heavily focused on just straight gameplay.
Yeah.
Because they were so consistently good that they could get those like 40 kill, 50 kill TDM games and fucking Call of Duty 4, which is, I don't know if you can say fuck on this podcast. Are you bleeping it out, or are you trying not to say it, or what's your policy for this?
On
one?
what?
The word fuck, or any curse word really.
Like what curse words?
Cock.
You can say it.
Okay.
What else?
Well, if you can say cock, then the list is probably pretty long.
Roosters.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No. It's wide open to all sorts of conversations, so it's no biggie.
You know what I was thinking about though was like when we first got into it, I couldn't have even conceptualized or imagined that it would have been a personality driven medium.
Yeah.
Because I purely got into it just because I wanted to make stupid montages. It had nothing to do with like trying to turn this into some kind of a career or a job or anything like that. It was literally as simple as I remember going on YouTube and searching Call of Duty 4 Sniper because I just wanted to, I was curious about other people's gameplay and how to be good at sniping. I wasn't very good when I first started, and I found Grizz.
Some would say still.
Some would say that, but
with a sniper, you're a great player. You're just a sniper. Anyway, go on.
I used to get so fucking pissed when you would tell me to put the sniper down when we were playing GBs, and
I was already sniping.
You took me right back to that angry place, and I don't want to be there. But I stumbled on Grizz's videos and this guy named Syphax and a couple other people. There was one guy named Poor Minorities.
I love Poor Minorities.
He used to play Call of Duty 2.
Yeah, Chopsticks is his new name, or was his new name. Yeah.
Who was the other guy? Started with a D, like Destroyer, Dominator. That was another one. But I just found their montages. I'm like, that looks like fun. And I had just gotten cheated on and broken up with. So I just, went to Best Buy and overdrew my account by like $20 so I could buy a capture card.
Yeah.
And that's how it all got started. But there was no sense that it would be like, I could not have imagined that a year later, it would have led to like a hosting gig and getting all this.
It only took you 1 year to do that? No way.
Yeah. I mean, it was like a year, and then
it had to be like a minimum a year and a half, bro.
Well, I started in October of 2008.
Yeah.
And I got the Machinima contract, I think, in August of 2009. And then they started posting the videos, and like immediately when they started posting those videos, which was like Call of Duty 4 gameplays, the views were like, 500,000, million, 2 million, and then they just kept on. And then Modern Warfare 2 came out, and then it just kind of just went.
What's your most viewed video ever on YouTube?
I think it's that stupid.
Oh, you missed the no scope on the guy.
It has like, I think 9 million or 8 million. I don't know. It's like this stupid 5-second video, but that video just blew up. And yeah, but no idea that it could have turned into something than what it did turn into. Yeah, and in many ways it happened before I could even like work out in my head what I wanted my goals to be. It was just, it seemed like the natural.
Did you have a job at the time?
Yeah, I was waiting tables in San Francisco. I think at the time, and then it just, the numbers were so big, and it was like I was making like half a year's salary, or waiting table salary or wage in a couple of months. So I'm like, well, I should probably quit my job and see where this goes. This is like, but I had no idea what to do with it, and so it just made sense to try to get a job at Machinima and then try to get experience, because I had no experience in production or game or anything. But
I think you were ahead of there was. I think you were the first one to really reach a level that Grizz hadn't even reached at that point. I think you were the first person that I personally knew that had ever reached 60,000 subscribers on YouTube. Or
there were some other people like Husky StarCraft. I remember the StarCraft guys.
And Call of Duty is what I'm talking about.
Call of Duty. Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. And to me, because I remember the message still in my head, clear as day. That's how I know you and I were meant to be together. Because even now, it's 10 years later, I remember you sent me a
YouTube private message.
And do you remember what it was?
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah. Because you made some video where you were cocky and you were like,
me? First of all, never.
Hard to believe. I know, I understand, but you made some video where you basically like challenging people. Like it was like is there no one left kind of moment?
Yeah, so no one else.
And all I did back then was practice sniping 1v1.
Yeah.
It was like, and I stopped playing public matches altogether, and I would literally just spar with my friends on shipment with the M40 for fucking 5 hours. Yeah, with Trumpy, guy named Pap, and a few other people I used to play with back in the day.
Did you stop being friends with Trump because his name resembles
Trump? It hits a chord, It makes it's a raw nerve. I don't like that his name Trump is.
Yeah.
Trumpy.
It's crazy.
No, I don't know what he's up to these days. Yeah,
what's crazy to me is like you, I never expected this to be more of a personality-driven sort of scene. That people are there to see you just as much as they're there to see your gameplay. Mm-hmm. And to me, it was always one of those things where I sort of brought my graffiti sort of culture in my brain into this thing where you had to be anonymous. I mean, even your name was anonymous. I mean, yours was a little bit closer to. What was your first gamer tag?
Hutch is your daddy.
Hutch is your dad. Such a good one. All right, so like that, mine was Hecz, like from the beginning, from Call of Duty 2, and I never thought about putting myself on camera. A lot of people thought I was white because of my because of my extensive vocabulary. Very racist to think that only white people can speak the way that I do. But this was 2008 or 8.
It's a different time.
Yeah, different time. Anyway, so I remember you were on a bed with a microphone.
A rock band microphone.
Yeah, literally, you know what's crazy? You and I have that in common.
You started with a rock band microphone?
Because of you. I saw you with the rock band mic, and Jude found a $3 rock band mic on a fucking garage sale, and then I did top 5 kill cams of the week with that. So at $3, what's 75 million views in Machinima days?
That would have been like $200,000, I think.
Yeah, so a $3 mic.
No. Whoa, not $200,000. What did you say? 175,000?
No, 75 million views.
Oh, 75.
So that would have 45 or something like that.
That would have been
250. Yeah, right.
250 CPM. So that would have been like
So a $3 Rockman mic generated me that much, like 140.
75 million views on Machinima
throughout the whole thing.
Wow.
Well, the entire series. And then Machinima, 10 years later, decides to go and delete that. All of them. They're gone.
Privated, I think.
Okay. Do you think that's a good thing? I mean, I don't
really have like people.
But you have so many. It changed your career. It changed your life. It was a moment in YouTube history that should be remembered because it was a platform, the base for everybody else to build the pyramid that we're currently building.
See, now I feel bad because I had so many people reach out to me when they cleared their library through social media to kind of give me the news, like, did you see what happened, or what's your reaction to this? And I didn't have a very strong reaction because my relationship with nostalgia has changed quite a bit as I've gotten older.
Why?
Like I don't think about the past very much anymore, like at all. And so like I spent a lot of time, I'm serious, I spent a lot of time in that world, and it changed me, and a lot of that stuff really confused me in terms of trying to figure out who I was, and just to get all kind of deep and philosophical with it. Yeah, I was 25, 26.
Okay.
And so I wasn't like a super young man, but I was still like pretty young. And so when that happened, it was like I kind of felt like a little bit of like, well, it kind of like allowed me to have closure a little bit. Like it felt like, okay, well now that door is shut, because I don't want to live in 2009 or 2010 or 2011. That's not my idea of fun.
Not even as to remember. You don't know.
I was in that place, so like all my memories are so vivid. So like when I watch, and there are a lot of videos that still live on in YouTube, like the highlight videos and stuff. So if I want to go back and reminisce, I can still do that, Like and there's this guy Kamanaji who has done a bunch of tremendously awesome like 4-hour Respawn compilation videos, and
are they still live?
They are, and he downloaded like every single episode of Respawn to make those videos, and so he's been slowly re-uploading them.
Awesome.
So if you go to his, if anybody gets a case of nostalgia, and you want to go back and look, just go to Kamanaji, K-A-M-A-N-A-J-I. Kamanaji.
Matt will find it and put it in the description. Matt will find it.
But he's been slowly re-uploading like every single episode.
Yeah, to me it was from my perspective, obviously because of top 5 kill cams. The first top 5 kill cam ever had FPS Russia at the #1 spot, and then FPS Russia, because of that episode, went on to become who he became. But it was all right. Lucky, sorry, bro.
No, the other thing too is like a lot of the times when I go back and watch old videos, I don't know if it's the case with you, I cringe. I really cringe. Like super, it's hard for me to watch some of those like 8, 7-year-old, 9-year-old videos. It's really hard. Yeah. Like I feel deeply embarrassed about it.
Do you really?
Because I was really kind of boisterous. I've always been kind of like really over the top and boisterous and just try to make people laugh my whole life. Mm-hmm. But I was also like kind of shy at the same time and reserved.
Very shy.
And a lot of that has changed in the last 10 years. I learned how to like project my voice and really
good voice, by the way.
Thank you. And just be like more of a have more of a confident presence in front of a camera, and I didn't have that before, and you could tell. Like back, but ironically, that's sort of the thing I think that many people related to, and so when you lose that, it's like, I don't know. We're getting into a deep conversation about it.
But we should.
But it's hard. It's hard to go back and watch those because it's, you know, I remember there was a lot of really good memories back then. There were a lot of really bad memories too, and so it's kind of a mixed bag, and it gets kind of complicated. For me.
I don't know. I just remember. So not to get too fast forward into Machinima, like I remember. Obviously, you joined OpTic at one point, and then. Because who did you beat? Did you beat everyone?
I had to beat everybody. Sulfuric and Corrosive and Dietrich was not in it yet.
Yeah, you brought Dietrich in.
Who are the other people, man? Your brother, you.
That's it. 7.
No.
Arsenic.
I only Arsenic. Yeah.
You were the 7th.
The guy who's the one that was really Psychosis.
Never Turn Your Back.
Psychosis.
Yeah. He came way later though. No, it's like
no. Psychosis was in there when I got in. I had to beat him. It took me like 8 times, but I finally beat him. It wasn't like the rule wasn't you had to beat him on the first try. It's like eventually you just had to beat every single one of them once. I don't think you realize how fucking nervous I was that whole fucking thing. And then when I got the gamer tag and I did the OpTic wrong, I didn't capitalize I capitalized the C.
Yeah,
and I shouldn't have done that.
Jesus.
And then I told you, I was like, yeah, man, I was proud. I was like, look at this gamer tag. And you're like, you did it wrong. And I felt so much shame. I'm like, fuck, man.
I was like, what
He's
the
gonna think I'm an idiot.
No, but that point,
I'm 25. Like,
bro, how do you think I felt? I was fucking 29. You know what I'm saying? 29 beating the shit out of fucking 15-year-olds in a video game. And I'm like, and I used to talk mad shit.
What was that sniper clan that we had that
Rage.
Oh.
Dude, you shitted on them. And then you backed out. It was on, I remember...
Strike.
Strike.
And I was spectating with you.
Yeah, you were spectating.
Like, Corrosive went nuts.
Yeah. Corrosive went off, and there was this one little kid. I remember it was like golden.
Look at these fucking pussies, man.
Yeah, you were like, he's playing like a total vagina, and I'm like, all right, that's. I think it's privated in my thing.
Yeah.
But from there, I remember we were on the team for a very long time, and then a couple of years, like a year and a half.
I don't even think it was a year, man. Because I joined OpTic. I think like around the same time that I got the Machinima partnership. I think. No,
dude, because you left because of that partnership.
No, I left because I got the job at Machinima.
Yeah.
So which was in February of 2009.
What partnership though then? Where you can upload to them.
Yeah, you can upload to them.
Yeah. And they were such a big channel at the time because of the trailers. They were like an IGN of sorts. They
were massive at the time, and then they just got so much more massive after Modern Warfare 2 came out and Respawn kicked off.
Dude.
But then you know, like Inside Gaming really started to do like good shit. Like they were doing good shit the whole time, but they like really exploded like after Respawn folded, and or maybe like around that time. There was some overlap there, and there were a bunch of like really talented people at Machinima that were making really good content. Some of them didn't get the kind of love that they deserved, and some of them did.
Yeah, Inside Gaming obviously was one of the better shows out there. With every single one of those people were fucking incredibly funny and talented, like on camera talent. I mean, obviously Funhouse that went to Rooster Teeth, and like that whole group, like everybody there was like that one building had so much talent in it that it fucking blew my mind that it got to where it is today, because. I don't know. I think it changed the game. And again, this is one of the reasons why I got super upset. And I mean, I didn't make as big a deal like publicly as I wanted to, but I was really, really, really mad at it because Dominator's, 10 million view montage from Call of Duty was there. D-Treats' montage was there before Doggy-O.
Yeah.
It was Doggy-O.
That's right.
Doggy Treats at the time.
That's right.
That one. And then you have obviously all, like very selfishly, all my top 5 kill cams. Your Camp Hutches, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of YouTube gaming history that should be there forever as part of the platform. It is just as important as what was that guy's name that used to do the balls greater than 3 guy? He used to do clips from the he had dark wild hair. He was a funny guy. He was one of the main ones.
Equals 3, Ray William Johnson?
Yeah, Ray William Johnson. Like I don't know if his is still around, but those early times of YouTube that should be revered.
That I can understand that argument, like preserving sort of the genesis of that sort of like social media revolution that we were luckily a part of. That I get that. Yeah, I'm just a little bit more removed from that. Like I guess mentally and emotionally, I just don't have a strong opinion about it.
Yeah. Well, look, when you said that you never thought that this would get to be a personality-driven thing, I totally understood. And that sort of comes to the question that was here, because you've always struck me as not a full introvert, but you are like a private person that doesn't necessarily love the attention, but you were like still loved by so many that you're just like in this place where you're just like, well, I guess I have to be this man for these people that are entertained by me.
Well, I tried. I thought by taking the job at Machinima and then being attached to someone as talented as Sark and Wood, they're both really good at conceptualizing something and then executing on their vision. I thought that just by going down here and just sort of like taking that leap of faith, that a lot of that reserved part of who I am, like the part of me that's really reserved, would kind of naturally go away. And that just wasn't what happened. So like, I remember to the very end, I hated doing game interviews with developers. It made me so nervous. It could have been a game that maybe even just 1,000 people played and nobody was talking about. But it's the whole process just made me so uncomfortable, to the point that my neck would physically lock up. Yeah. And so if you go back and watch some of if you go back and watch some of the old interviews, you can literally see me like this, and I'm like trying not to shake. Yeah. Because like I was so nervous with the whole thing.
And then you have Sark,
he's just total opposite. He can just be comfortable in like any situation and make any situation funny, which was good for me. Like I got a lot of that stuff did rub off on me, but there was so much about that job that just was not me in the slightest. And then they started taking directions that I didn't feel comfortable with, and then like that we had way more of a say in terms of the sort of content that we produced for like the first year and a half. Yeah. And then it was clear that we had no say. And if we were given something to sponsor, it didn't matter how stupid the thing was or how irrelevant it was to gaming or what, if it made Machinima money and they were cutting them, checks for whatever, $100,000, $200,000 or something, it was our job to get in front of the camera and just do that. And
you get paid for it.
But we got salaries. So
you get paid to do that. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And obviously at the time, this hadn't happened where as a creator, you have so much say. Like you guys had all the say in the world. And the fact that I have my opinions about them letting go, or not letting go, but sort of not forcing you guys to stay together in Respawn. That I was just like super like mad at that, because it was such a part of my daily life, like the Respawn shows or my weekly entertainment. Yeah. Like even now to this day, I get mad at Hitch and Maniac when they stopped uploading the Flycast, because I had that time allocated to where I was driving to a certain place, and if I run out of shit to be entertained by, I'm upset, and somebody needs to pay the price. And that was you guys back then, but. Anyway, getting ahead of ourselves. I remember me and my brother were driving towards the city. No, you can burp all you want. You just had two. What did you just have?
My new breakfast routine is 2 sourdough pieces of toast with an over easy egg on them with some chives, and then sauteed mushrooms and Italian sausage.
Did you offer me some when I walked in?
No.
Okay, just throwing it out there. Mm-hmm. I didn't notice either. I was just saying it.
I assumed you ate lunch like a grown up.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Two actually. Anyway, so I remember my brother and I were driving towards the city. I don't know what we were doing, but you called and you were about to break the news that you were going to leave. And I remember like knowing that you were going to leave, but at the time I thought it was because either my brother or somebody was being super toxic to other people. No. And because you said, he's like, hey man, let's try to be honorable when we defeat clans or whatever.
Oh, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
It sounds like something I'd say.
Yeah, and then it was like, your brother kind of gets a little bit, how my brother gets, and everybody knows.
Did I really complain about
I don't know if you complained.
I love your brother. I know.
Yeah. But he was like off the handle. It was like in the time where everybody was saying the F word so freely.
Oh man,
like
you
not the fuck one, the other one.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, I'm like, all right, no, I understand. Yeah, we should be a little bit, better. But
I think it was the age of the people that we were playing.
Yeah.
It was like in my mind, I'm like, we're fucking calling like 15-year-olds fucking pussies.
Yeah. Yeah. I never minded. Okay, I just want to throw that out there.
Like in the beginning, I was like, yeah, fuck them, fucking pussies. And then I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm like 25 years old.
I like the competitive person in me has never like looked at a 15-year-old man and said, I got to take it easy on the 15-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Never in my life. Anyway, so we're driving and I feel it. I'm like, man, look, if you're going to break up with me, just break up with me. Like I kind of broke the ice because, you were having a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think you said like, you can just say it, bro. You can just say it.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
And then my brother was telling me, he's like, no, tell him that he can be the leader of OpTic. And then we had it muted. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, and my brother looks at me. He's like, you're about to have Olivia. You're not gonna have time for this bullshit. And I was like, the fuck, I'm not. And then I was like, yo. Anyway, well, that was that. And then you went on to do that. I remember you telling me that you can make money off of uploading videos to Machinima, and that you would put in a word, and you did put in the word, and we got in, and that was the moment that I knew that for the rest of my life, I was never gonna do anything else but play video games for a living. Like you telling me that, it's like you can make money off of that, and I'm like, get the fuck out. How much? And you're like, it's probably like $2 or $2.50 for every 1,000 views. And I would think about the
You're like
views.
doing the math in your head, like, holy shit.
I'm like, yeah, because I'm like, because I put myself in your shoes, and I'm like, you were getting like 70 to 75, sometimes 100,000 views a video, and I'm like doing the math, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
It was more than that. It was like a lot of those videos were getting 500,000 views, and then like once Modern Warfare 2 hit, and then it was like 2 million views, 3 million views per video.
Yeah.
Because everybody was, it was like a cultural event when that game launched. It was like the biggest entertainment launch in all of history. It grossed like over $1 billion in one day, and so everybody was like, and YouTube was on the up and up back then too. So naturally, like a lot of people were just going on YouTube and searching Modern Warfare 2, and I realized that it wasn't hard to figure that out, but
yeah.
But I saw a tremendous opportunity, and I was only thinking in terms of like months. I wasn't thinking in terms of years.
Yeah.
But then eventually it got to a point where it became clear, like, oh, this is like a life-changing situation that's occurring right now. She won't chew your cords. She's just
Hutch's cat. What's her name?
Arya
Stark.
or Tiny Kitty.
She's not tiny.
Come here. What are you doing?
Anyway, so it looked like the cat was gonna pounce. That's why I snapped my finger. I'm just.
Look how fat
No, thank you.
this kitty is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Look at this. Go ahead,
Hutch, please.
just pet her. Don't poke her, pet her.
I'm not poking. I pet her with my there.
She wants you to pet her.
I know you want me to pet her.
I'll back away when you just pet her one time. That counts. All right. She got so portly. Anyways,
don't shame her.
I'm not.
Anyway, so I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You can make money for this. You can make money. And then from there, you went to go work there, and then they started the Machinima Premier Directorship, and we were one of the first 5.
There were only 10, I think. Actually,
it was 5 at the time.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it was you, Nanners, Tabe.
Blame Truth, I think.
No, Tabe. Only Use Me Blade and OpTic.
Oh man, Blame Truth was in there.
No, he went. Was he?
Yeah, I think there were 10, dude. I
Yeah.
think there were 10. But I think I'm pretty. And remember, they gave us the access to Machinima's Twitter. Like we could post to their Twitter.
Yeah.
Dude, one time I accidentally posted from their Twitter account when the whole G Unit thing was going on.
Yeah.
I tweeted from Machinima Respawn. All right, god damn it. Everyone needs to shut the fuck up about what's going on. It's like a business Twitter account. And I realized what happened. And I was like, oh shit, I thought I was going to get fired. I go downstairs. They're like, oh, it's fine. It's such a strange culture at Machinima.
The thing is, like, how did you not know that you weren't going to get fired, though? You were like such an asset for that.
I had no concept.
You never figured.
I had no concept of how to value myself. I had no heavenly idea. And you got to also consider, most money I'd ever made in a year before that was $25,000. Just waiting tables at Olive Garden, or maybe $30,000 or something like that.
What was the biggest jump that you saw?
What do you mean?
From 25,000, you went to what?
I don't even want to talk about the first year's salary at Machinima. It was not much better.
All right, listen, Lucky, I like you.
Than that situation, but again, like I had no concept of how to value myself at all, and even being, you know, underpaid, like looking back in hindsight and realizing that I didn't do the best job of extracting as much value out of that at the time.
Yeah.
It was still such a huge leap forward for me that I didn't have the perspective to maybe like reach out to somebody else who knew the
business
industry, but nobody knew the business back then because it didn't fucking exist. So like there was no guidance. And I remember that being one thing that made the hard times like really hard, because like I felt like I couldn't go to anyone. I felt like I couldn't complain about anything. And I felt like I couldn't go to anyone for advice, because everybody in the creator sphere, you yourself included, everybody was doing like such different things. Like everybody had different goals, different visions for how to achieve their goals, and nobody knew what the right way was. And only history would bear that out.
SteelSeries used to pay us $400 per event, not a month, per event. They would give us $400 for them to be on the jersey, 5 events. So do the math, right?
Yeah.
Like literally no money was given to us. I mean, it barely paid for flights, and the rest was like, I don't know, it was taken from the.
But it was seen as a risk, though, you know. So like these companies didn't know how to approach influencers or YouTubers or whatever. Mm-hmm. Streaming wasn't really a big thing back then.
It didn't exist until later.
It existed, but in a real like small, like it's Justin TV. So, but these companies, you know, that were maybe willing to spend, you know, millions of dollars now, they had no heavenly idea what to do with people like us back then, because we were like cursing. It was not brand safe at all. But the numbers were so massive that, you know, we were still able to attract like some companies were willing to take that risk. Yeah. But there was no path. There was no path laid before us, really. I mean, you could take cues from music industry or movies. I didn't know shit about that, but like, I'm sure there are some parallels, but it was just totally brand new. So hard to figure out what you're worth back then. Yeah. And if you have like crushing low self-esteem, it doesn't help.
Yeah. So that's where I was gonna go to. Let me take a quick break to say hello to the sponsors really quickly.
As always, huge shout out to Seagate. If it wasn't for Seagate, what you see here would not be possible. The main sponsor of the Hecz Quarters, the one that make the Hecz Quarters world go around. Thank you so much for having the faith in us to be able to deliver the message that Seagate is the best provider of external hard drives and internal hard drives as it stands. I use it all the time. That's what I use to edit and save all of my vlogs, as you guys know. Here in the Hecz Quarters, again, the 2 terabyte external hard drives for the PlayStations are on every single one of the PlayStations. That way, any single time there's a LAN competition or a LAN practice going on, that everybody's using the full power of their PlayStations. And today, Zebit with another comeback. Shout out to them for coming back with another sponsorship. We have Zebit, rhymes with debit, who believes that everyone deserves access to lifelong interest-free credit. With Zebit, you have the power to buy what you need and pay over time. Interest-free, by the way. The Zebit Marketplace has everything you need, from everyday items and electronics to furniture and appliances. So that means that if you go to Zebit.com/eavesdrop, you get $2,500 credit to the shop. The Zebit Marketplace at zero interest and zero cost to join. Why is that? Why is Zebit a better credit option, you ask? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Zebit provides a better zero-interest credit option for all members. Okay, no matter what your credit score is. They allow you to buy whatever you want and need and pay over time with zero interest. With Zebit, there is zero cost to join, zero membership fees, and zero late fees, which is, I mean, that's pretty cool if you ask me. Zero credit score needed. Your Zebit account is not determined by your credit score. Zebit does not even check your credit score, and your Zebit account does not affect your credit score because, like I said, we do not check your credit. Zebit does not impact your credit score, as I just mentioned, and that gives you access to a huge marketplace. Zebit has everyday items at everyday prices. They have more than 50,000 products in the marketplace and brand names like Xbox, Sony, Apple, GoPro, and Fitbit. From electronic to barbecues, furniture, and more, Zebit has everything you need when you need it. Great customer experience. Zebit has a 5-star rating on Trustpilot, and they've earned the trust of hundreds of thousands of customers who shop on Zebit. Okay, so again, as I was saying, you can get $2,500 interest-free credit offer if you go to zebit.com/eavesdrop. That is ZEBIT.com/eavesdrop for $2,500 in interest-free credit. Zebit.com/eavesdrop. Do I have to tell you again? Because it's 2,500 buckaroos on the line. Anyway, thank you for allowing me to interrupt this incredible podcast with Hutch. Let's get back to it. And sorry for the switcheroo. We had some technical difficulties, but nonetheless, here we go.
So as I was saying, the whole not knowing how to value yourself and doing that, like you sort of, and tell me if we can't talk about this or we can, but you quit at some point because it was just too much for you, right? Like there was, because it was, did it have, I mean, maybe now you can speak about it. Did it have anything to do with you not being paid what you were supposed to pay? Or was it just you in your own mind just being like, I can't be this fucking massive superstar?
No, in fact, it was like kind of ironic because that year, like shortly before I quit was right when I made this really like very serious push to get paid a lot more than I was being paid. Mm-hmm. And then they eventually capitulated after some back and forth and some initial resistance. But I was like very firm. Yeah. Because by that point I really knew. Yeah. Like, okay, there's so much more value here than what's being put on the table. But what happened like right then, it was like a convergence of like three huge stressors coming together at the same time. The first one was confronting the reality that Respawn was changing because Machinima was changing. And so it felt like that first like year and a half was like that is the most fun I've ever had in my life. It was such a wonderful time. And it's hard to even explain just how awesome that time was in my life. And then to go from that to all of a sudden Nanners is leaving and there's all this internal struggle with the company. And then I had a bunch of family stuff going on at the time. My dad was overseas in Iraq, working for a private military contractor, and there were like constant mortar rounds being fired into the compound that he was in. So it was just, and then there was some like family infighting that got real bad around that time, and then I was like, in my romantic life, I was just like, nothing was working out the way that I wanted it to at all. And so it all just kind of hit me at once. And then it just felt like I collapsed inward. Like I imploded. Yeah. And all of a sudden people that were best friends to me felt like strangers. I remember when you came to visit, like right before I quit, and I was outside smoking a cigarette at the new Machinima office. Yeah. And I'm like having a conversation with you about all this stuff, and I remember you like kind of looking at me puzzled, like, yeah. What are you stressed about? You're in such a good spot right now, and just you're great. And it felt like I couldn't explain it, and then because of that, I would get in my own head and like, maybe I am just fucking. So maybe it was all self-imposed. I still have, I'm still kind of processing that stuff.
Well, you were wrong. You were in a great spot. You got in your head.
Well, I mean, like externally I was in a really great spot, but just like I said, all these other things came together at the same time. And sometimes you just need to fucking break. Like sometimes you just need to dip and be around people that you trust and sort of get your bearings again. So I don't regret taking off the way that I did at all. I think
did you disappear from YouTube for a while? How long was that break?
Like 6 months.
6 months. What did you do in those 6 months?
Fucking chased girls and waited tables and just, like hung out with my friends, and, it was just like stuff that I was doing before I left, and it felt good. And so by the time I came back, like it was scary.
Wait, no, I want to talk about the time that you got recognized while waiting tables. That could not have been easy, right? Because here you are, and I'm putting myself in your shoes and thinking to myself, for what it's worth, I'm popular on the internet. I have something about me that makes people laugh and makes people angry and makes people have a feeling, and I can steal 10 minutes away from them a day just so they can watch and hear what I'm saying. Yeah. All right. So for whatever it's worth, you're popular. People recognize you. They want to shake your hand. They want to do this, right? Yeah. And then going back to work into the real world, what the fuck is that, Hutch? Didn't I tell you to call?
Are you picking up on that?
Yeah. Listen, Hutch forgot to call the neighborhood to tell them to shut up, but no worries. They won't hear it. my audio guy's really good. They'll
Get in there with Audacity and
sure
get
something.
it out of there. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so I'm thinking, I'm like, man, if I'm him, I will could never go back into the real world.
But that was a good lesson, though. That was a really good lesson in humility, and it was one that I needed too.
All right, tell the story.
There's not much to it. Like
Yes, there is.
Well,
Come on.
I got back home and I didn't have a plan. It was just like all I knew right then was that I needed to get out of LA. I needed to not be working at Machinima. I needed to not be in front of a camera. I needed to just get some foundation. And I knew going up, I'm like, this is gonna fucking suck. Like, cause like
So
going,
you did know.
Yeah, definitely. Like I knew, like, cause I was treated like a rock star.
Yeah,
down here
you were a rock star
in Los Angeles. Fucking like people that I didn't know wanted to be my friend.
Yeah,
and they wanted to fucking hang out with me.
You were the first of your kind.
Videos.
In my opinion, I swear I always say this. It was like you, Nanners, Nate Shot, Scump, Ninja.
It's a long
for
list.
Me.
It's a
right?
really
of like people that have made that sort of. I mean, obviously, no one's reached the level that Ninja has, right? He's the guy that took it there. But up until that point, like you were like the first of your kind, sort of like superstar. So people treat you like a rock star. People that you didn't know wanted to be your friend.
And I didn't, and I didn't like that though. I didn't like.
I know.
It made
That's
me.
why I'm laughing.
It made me not trust people. Like I was not a popular kid in school growing up. I was not somebody that people typically thought of as cool. And so then all of a sudden, I'm 25 years old and my whole life changes. Now all of a sudden everybody wants to be my friend. I'm like, fuck you guys.
Because it wasn't like in junior high school I wasn't popular, but high school, here I am. You were this junior high school, some college. Did you go to college?
Yeah, I did 3 years of college.
Well, you beat me by 3 years. I did a semester. All right, so at 25 you become. I was 29, dude. It's a weird thing to experience. So, but go ahead.
It's very strange, So by the time I got back up there, I'm like, okay, so I knew that I didn't like a lot of the attention, but there were obvious perks to the whole thing that I knew. I'm like, this is going to be an adjustment to let that stuff go and to just enter the workforce again.
Yeah.
And so for the first couple months, it was an adjustment. It was like, if somebody would like, kind of snippily be like, this iced tea isn't cold enough. In my head, I'm like, bitch, I'm fucking Hutch.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
But then that voice got quieter and quieter, and then it was just a job like any other job. I enjoyed my coworkers. I didn't hate it that much. But this kid, this one time, I was waiting tables at this like golf course, and it was like not like a super bougie golf club, but golf club. So it's a certain clientele, and these kids come in and like there was like this outdoor area I remember, and it was like a six top. They were like probably 18, 17 years old. I think they had just graduated high school or something. And they're all looking at me and they're all kind of snickering and stuff. Or not snickering, like that's how I took it because I was like, But I knew what was going on as soon as it was happening. I was like, oh God. It happened a few times, but this one was like, so this kid walks up and he goes, dude, aren't you Hutch? And I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, like my name tag.
Like, I used to be. Last year I was.
I hung the cowl up, yeah. And he goes, aren't you Hutch? I'm like, yeah. And he goes, dude, what are you doing here?
And why are you shooting a video? Why are you doing what you're doing?
Is this a social experiment or something? Yeah. But no, he just looked at me and so like I had to, I wanted to tell him to go fuck himself, but like it was a valid question at the same time. And
yeah.
And so, yeah, it was but that was a good lesson in humility. It really was.
Why?
Because I don't think that your personality or how you see yourself or how you see the world should be propped up by something as superficial as what other people think about you.
Yeah.
I just don't think that that's healthy in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
You can, that's going to work for a while,
Yeah.
that might, it worked for me for a while. And I built an identity off of that and I'm going to be this brand new person and that sort of thing. But after a while, I just felt like I did not know myself anymore. I didn't like the person that I thought I was becoming. And so it was good. I really value that time of going back and readjusting to things.
You can't. It is an impossible thing. And this is what I love about the gaming community and the way that we have treated people who were once popular on the internet that have been able to transition, when their time's done for whatever reason, whether they want to step away from the limelight or whatever, that they've been able to
go back into civilian life.
Sort of, but in gaming still, you know, to where if you go to work, you know, and just Hutch, oh, that's Hutch. We're in the same industry, sort of, you know, whatever. I'm a fan, whatever, like that sort of thing. Instead of like going out into the real world and then experiencing something like that, then I didn't know how you did it. Afterwards, I didn't know how you did it. To this day, I don't know how you were able. Well, obviously, you came back, thank God. But I don't think, like, I don't know what gave you the balls, bro. The balls to be the superstar that you were, and think that you had the right, two, the ability to be a regular fucking person afterwards.
I don't know. I don't share your perspective on this one.
How? It's the most logical thing. You became who you became, and you can't go back. You think Brad Pitt could ever be a normal person? I'm not comparing you to Brad Pitt. Your looks, maybe.
You kind of are. Oh, no, I mean, with someone like Brad Pitt, he's so rich it doesn't even matter anymore. But no, I mean, I think you know, like everybody who does this should be mentally prepared to transition back into
civilian life.
Call it civilian life. I don't know. I don't want that to sound patronizing, you know, like, you know, into a regular life apart from the games industry and YouTubing and stuff like that. But then there's also like a different perspective. Your perspective is to use the fear of going back to that as motivation to keep making good shit. And you've been able to turn that energy into such a level of productivity. You're one of the hardest working people I know in this industry. So there's a few different approaches to how you can look at this whole thing and how you
the thing is like I always see you guys and every single one of my peers, and I see like the best in them, and I'm like, if I was just as good as him, I would do this differently. And I have like that sort of chip on my shoulder that I was like, you know, I'm not as good of entertainer or speaker or good at the video game as this, you know, this sort of thing. So for me, it was always like, I'm like, man, and I was old too, and I had done corporate America for the longest, so I knew what the alternative was. So when I was, you know, seeing you guys, that not only that, but I was like, I was always super jealous at how much fun you guys had, and I knew that you guys were having fun because of Wood.
Yeah, the real moments.
Yeah, because and I'm so glad that he left that laughter in there, because it really translated just like everything that you guys like. It made us, the viewers, like feel how much fun you guys were having.
Yeah,
like,
Wood was like an avatar for the viewer. You know? Like the viewer could identify with him laughing. And all those times where we would be laughing like that, there was genuine tears from you know, it was like raucous and like fucking debaucherous and so obscene and like it was just so much fun. Like it felt like we were breaking all the rules. Like it felt like we were smashing down people's expectations for how they could consume content. And we took pride in that, you know? Like I would not make a lot of those same jokes today.
No, of course not.
But it felt like it served a purpose at the time, which was to challenge mediums like television and even radio or podcasting and stuff like that to do something different and connect with people in a different way. And it felt really good to be a part of that and to show people a different way of doing it. A big reason that it was the way that it was for us was because of Sark. So, you know, I was, you know, I don't want to take too much credit in terms of like breaking the mold or trying new things, because he was such a central part of the creative vision for that for Respawn at the time. But it did feel like we were a part of it. Like, even though he was the head of the ship, we were all kind of like essential parts of that.
You guys were excellent sidekicks.
It's like four wheels on a car, you know. That's excellent sidekicks. Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind being his sidekick because he was so funny.
Yeah, agreed.
It was like I was in awe of how effortlessly funny he was, and he still is to this day. You play games with him, and it's like, dude, I will never be that funny.
That's what I always say when anytime I hung out with him, anytime I saw his videos, any single time I always rank him in the top 5 funniest people I've ever known. Yeah. Or seen in anything. Like I put him up there just from a personal entertainment level of how funny he is. at like that high of a thing, because just like anything else, like when you're a little kid, you're Saved by the Bells was the funniest show ever because you related or some way, and you spent so much time watching it, it became a part of your life, so it became a true thing that is what you could rank somebody as. So when I rank them in my top 5 up there with Ricky Gervais and number 1 and the rest, it's a genuine ranking of me saying like, yeah, I believe so much in how much fun I had laughing when he was making those jokes that I will put him like way the fuck up there in those terms.
Yeah. But that breaking the fourth wall and just cracking up and stuff, that became like a part of Respawn. He would do the post-credit scenes, like the bloopers, that became like a part of Respawn. And it was so hard because like when I got there, I'm like, okay, here I am. I have no experience in production whatsoever. There are people that have been working for fucking 10 years to try to get to the place that I'm at now. And I was just sort of given this thing after.
No, you were not.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was. I was given an opportunity. I was given this opportunity after like 3 or 4 months of considerable popularity on YouTube. And so I'm trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
And it was just impossible. Like the Frag Cup videos, I would it would take us sometimes 3 hours to shoot a fucking 5-minute video or 10-minute video because like I could not stop laughing. And it was part of that in the beginning was just being uncomfortable, and that's kind of how I dealt with it. But a big part of it was just he was genuinely that funny. I don't know how we got on the topic of Sark, but I don't
know either.
That was such a magical time to be alive and to be like a witness to all of it. Even if I wasn't participating, I think I could, not to toot my own horn, but like I could totally understand why it became like a cultural thing.
It was the show. It was the show, and I always found it super weird, and I always imagined how hard it would be for him to do the interviews with the developers because he was like being serious and never really cracked like jokes, and I watched for that. I'll give you a perfect example. Have you seen The Sisters Brothers or Brothers Sisters?
No.
It's with Joaquin Phoenix and John C. Reilly.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Yes.
You did.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm watching this movie,
you're expecting Jonathan C. Reilly to be funny or something?
It ruined the movie for me.
I loved that.
I have to go back and watch it. But it ruined the movie for me because I was waiting for John C. Reilly to just be him and make me laugh.
They had some funny parts.
Yeah,
like there was some deadpan kind of humor.
It literally ruined the entire movie because of that. And I don't consider myself somebody that doesn't appreciate the job or the art of an actor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I believe in. I don't believe in Tobey Maguire's not Spider-Man Forever. You know what I'm saying? What do you call that? There's a name for that.
Nostalgia?
No, when an actor becomes so that one character that like, for example, pigeonholed. Yeah. So like Robert Downey Jr., he's fucking Iron Man.
He's also got a large category or catalog of movies besides Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes, right? Well. So yeah, I guess he's an extremely good actor. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway,
Harry Potter. There
you go.
The kid that played fucking Anakin in the prequel movies that ruined his life.
Yes. What do you mean it ruined his life?
He fucking hates George Lucas because of the direction he took the films, because he was the one that took all the shit because everybody hated. He had to go through like years of therapy. He's still fucked up about it. The kid that played Anakin, the kid actor.
Oh, the little kid.
Hayden Christensen, I don't know about him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was okay.
I'm sure he's fine now, but the kid, it fucked him up for like the rest of his life.
Well, I thought it was amazing. Well, you didn't like the third movie?
There's like a couple, like the Darth Maul scene and the pod races were cool.
Yeah.
There's some other stuff that was good, but I don't love the prequels.
I liked every single one of those movies. Every single one. A lot. We don't share the same, you like implicitly, and I mean you love actually the Road Warrior. What was it?
Fury Road.
Huh?
Fury Road.
Yeah, Fury Red.
Fury Road is
Fury Road. What's the name of it?
Mad Max.
Fury Road. Thank you.
I think it's my favorite movie of all time. I think it's like an opera. It's like and I don't know if you're aware, but he meticulously planned each shot with a storyboard, like it was a graphic novel. and then they went in and like they didn't go in there and shoot just casual B-roll. It was like they had a really specific vision for each and every shot of
We
that
do that
film.
with my daily vlog. Okay, sorry. So go on.
You know,
It wasn't
not to take away from your vlogs, but and then the soundtrack to it is so incredibly hyped that like the whole thing just felt like just like a visceral experience. I remember just the whole time in theaters just being like this. I would look over at Esme like, oh my God, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen.
Was Esme just like, it's all right.
She liked it. It's got a strong feminist message.
Yeah.
Just to piss off half your audience.
Wait,
with
what,
the word.
don't assume it.
Okay. Well,
Okay. I have, they're all common sensors above anything else.
female centered, we'll say.
Yeah. I am weird in the sense that I'm supposed to, I don't know. I'm not going to, unless the politics will come in a little bit because I
want to talk about politics on this
sort
thing?
of, because it's
There's a way you can have a conversation without politics that doesn't alienate people. There is a way.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I think we're about to have it. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it specifically in this podcast is because yesterday I wore my Hutch 2016 shirt, and I still have that. You were wearing your glasses from, I think it was that Machinima?
I was living in Santa Cruz.
You know which one I'm talking. So Hutch 2016.
I was living in Santa Cruz. I was on my couch where we took that picture, and then they used the.
Anyway, no one gives a fuck.
Clarifying.
There's I have that shirt and I have the Hutch 2020. But at first, when I bought the Hutch 2016, I thought it was like one of those vote for Pedro sort of things. And I'm not saying that you were actually running for president in 2016, but I didn't know how politically driven you were until later. Now, now I'm sort of the same way because my grandma on my dad's side was this, if I remember correctly, because I was obviously a kid, it was this sort of activist, and she was with PAN. The PAN is the Partido Acción Nacional, which is, I believe, Democratic versus the Republic. Yeah, because the other one's the Republic, PRI. Partido Republicano. I don't remember. I was a kid. But I've always had this sort of same thing towards politics where it matters a lot and people's actions matter, and that, like, I joke with you as if I don't, because I just know that you get riled up really easily, which still to this day, after 10 years of friendship, it baffles me how you sometimes...
I'm just super gullible and impressionable.
Yeah, but so quickly though. You know what I'm saying?
Like you'll say something that's just so clearly a joke, and I'll be like, bro, that's not.
Yeah.
Actually, in 1953,
Yeah. So still to this day, I don't get how. 10 years. But anyway, so you not lately, in the last 4 years, how long has Trump been in office?
Well, you got to go back to the campaign, which started in 2015.
So in 2015,
about 4 years.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, you sort of like blew up in my mind as like this like super raging political like person.
I blew up.
No, I'm not saying like you blew up. Like you exploded, and you needed all these things to say about the current state of what we're going through. And I always found it like, obviously you have a voice. Do you think that because you have a voice and you have people that they need to hear, maybe alternative sort of, and I'm not saying alternative as an alt. How do I was saying, do you like, what is it about politics that makes you, because a lot of people always say politics, religion, and what else?
Politics and religion.
Yeah, it's something that you don't talk about, but you have been like super comfortable in speaking your views, which to me has always been like wow.
Well, to me, it's very interesting, and I like to talk about things that I'm interested in. And even back then, I mean, obviously, like, our focus was gaming and sort of gaming culture and making funny videos, and we weren't trying to be political at all on Respawn, which was good and fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But behind the scenes, I remember like talking about Occupy when that whole thing sprung up after the big recession, that people like you and me didn't even feel the effects of the recession. Like, we were like exploding at the time when a huge chunk of this country was in a lot of pain. And
Well, just as a reminder and disclosure, I worked in the mortgage industry. Subprime lending was my specialty. And
but then you transitioned out of that into this thing. And so, you know, but like, so I remember like when the Occupy movement came up and there was this all this blowback against Wall Street in this country. And I remember being very interested in that. I actually went to the event in Los Angeles and I took some pictures, tweeted about it. I talked about it in videos. You know, it wasn't that long ago that gay marriage was illegal. And I remember talking about that and thinking that was so fucking ridiculous that in 2014 or whatever, or 13, that was still something that was like you could be prohibited from getting married in this country in certain states. And I remember talking about that in a video too. So like it was there. It just wasn't as prevalent as it started to become in 2015. And I guess like to answer your question, why do that would be like, try to imagine a world where there was no pushback against Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Nobody pushed back. And he had sort of the tacit approval of everyone in the country. And if you can just imagine what that would look like, it's probably very fucking scary, even for a lot of Trump supporters. I'm sure on some level they appreciate the fact that we live in a country where you can push back. The same thing you could say for someone like Obama. Like if there was no pushback against someone like Obama, he would have been a nightmare for conservatives. So the trick is like trying to figure, like I've had to like really reevaluate my approach to things and how I approach certain conversations or how I present my argument. And in 2015, it was just like, fuck you guys. Just like I took like a real hard stance against it because I was horrified at what I was seeing. And it wasn't just because of Donald Trump. I mean, it was just like the whole dynamic in this country shifted like very noticeably in the last 5 or 6 years. And it's gotten real nasty. And so like, I see it as like an obligation. I see it like, I don't think I have a choice in terms of whether or not to discuss these things. And it has hurt the business side of it just like a little bit. Yeah. For sure. Because, you know, people that went to you with just to kind of, you know, tune everything out and not think about politics, they're not going to want to come around if you talk about politics. And that's okay. But
especially if they're opposing views.
Yeah. I mean,
you're a blonde, blue-eyed man. You know, you're a lot of
green eyes.
Are they?
Yeah.
Anyway,
sometimes they look blue.
You're a lot of you in those back, you know, 10 years ago. You were a lot of people related from you from all walks of life. But there are some conservative people our age and younger that grew up in a super conservative sort of region that were in love with your entertainment. And then for you to come out with an opposing view, that kind of like obviously you heard it. And that's always been a little bit of my thing. If I was a standalone content creator, then I think that I would be a little bit more free with the way that I say and my views on certain things. But the fact that I represent everybody in OpTic as well, is that because of the association made it a little bit, you know.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Yeah. Like you have to approach it much more responsibly and thoughtfully than I do, because you're accountable to all these other different people that I'm not.
Yeah.
I remember you accidentally retweeted one of my tweets about Bernie Sanders from the OpTic account. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? OpTic Gaming just retweeted. Like I'm like looking through my mentions, and then I'm like, that had to have been a mistake. Yeah. Because like, and then the replies, there were so many replies. Like, what the fuck is this? Did you look at that and go? Did you like?
No, I just deleted it.
You didn't tweet out like whoops, sorry, no. I thought that was a.
No, I don't like to like when it's a whoopsie. Fuck am I gonna waste time explaining?
People forget about it in a day, anyways.
In the internet, isn't that fucking weird though? That you can, and that's also the super scary thing about the internet and the world that we live in. You know how, like, think about at the beginning. Think about when the guy that faked the nuke. His name was G-Unit 1 2 3. G-Unit 1 2 3. Yeah. When he faked the nuke, remember how long that lasted?
Yeah, like permeated in the culture for
so still, I mean, we're still talking about it, right?
Yeah, it was like I remember that.
Yeah, so we did. Now look at it now. If that happened now, it would be gone in a week. Nobody would give a shit, and it would be old news.
Well, there's a lot more people in the space making content, and there's a lot more people consuming content. So the attention is fractured now in a way that
Twitter didn't exist back then, though.
it did. Just not at
2009, not at this level, right? 2009.
No, not at this level, no. But it was, YouTube was like the top dog back then. Now Facebook is making moves and Twitter's making moves. Everybody's making moves. But the thing is like I see it as like, especially because I don't have kids. I don't think I want kids, but I have like nieces and nephews, and I think about them a lot. And I think about the world that they're coming into. And I think about the world that I lived in when I became an adult. It was the run up to the Iraq War, and I watched horrified as the country whipped itself into a hysteria, and we were demanding a pound of flesh, and it didn't matter that Iraq didn't attack us. And not to get too into that, but I remember looking around thinking collectively, like, my whole country is fucking insane right now. Like, this is crazy. Like, everything changed after that day in September, like 18 years ago. And these young people that are coming into their own right now in this climate, they face a totally different set of challenges that I didn't have to face. And there's going to be so many more challenges. I'm thinking in terms of decades, like, 10, 20 years when these weather events start to become more extreme. And if we think things are divided right now, when the shit really starts to hit the fan,
people start blaming each other.
People are going to scapegoat. They're going to do what they always do. They scapegoat minorities and poor people and point the blame elsewhere and try to get people fighting amongst each other. And if we think it's bad now, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like later down the line. So I've actually been thinking these days, like, okay, so maybe the best way for me to contribute to making this environment a better environment for people isn't to just be like an old man. Like on Twitter, I'm like an old man, like on a rocking chair on my porch, just like yelling
at a cloud,
yelling at people as they walk by my doorstep. So after a few years of doing that, I've started to really kind of ask myself, like, is that the most effective way to promote a message of unity or unity basically? And so now I'm reevaluating everything. I still tweet about politics and stuff, but I've tried to ramp it down a little bit. I tried to focus on the things that I like, because I think everybody's going to have to really like eventually focus on the things that have in common eventually, and it's going to happen in our lifetime. And you got a little girl coming up in the world now too, and so I think I think it's our responsibility to try to set a good example. I haven't always done that, and I'm still learning. So same.
So super same. I usually start this podcast by saying, "Who are you today?" So who are you today?
Really? Is that a thing?
Well, I usually start it, but I know I have to ask that question and we won't we're leaving it here because the fans will love it because they get mad when I don't ask that at the beginning of the podcast. Okay, all right. So who are you today?
Oh man, that's so abstract. I don't know.
That's why it's a beautiful question.
Oh, I'm an American, I guess. I guess that's what I would say right now. That's what I feel like most these days. I feel very connected to what's going on in my country.
You're the first person to say that. Most people say the profession.
That's such a small part of who I am, I think, though. I really do. I love that part. I love my job. It's a great job, and like especially my stream, I have one of the best chats on stream. We have such a good time, and like we can have conversations that are kind of difficult, but we've all like taught each other how to deal with trolls now better, and like so we don't take the bait as often. So it's like, and I have this really cool ritual with them now where we get together once a year and I hang out with a bunch of people, and like they flew out to Los Angeles a couple weeks ago. I bought them Korean barbecue. We all went and saw a movie.
How many people?
There's like
just your mods or
8 or 9 people, mostly mods, I think. But and then the year before that, I flew to Minnesota. I'd never been to Minnesota, and that was like central to the area so I flew out there for a weekend. We went to the Mall of America and we went and saw a movie and just hung out. And so I actually really, I love my job. It's a big part of who I am, but this other stuff that I'm thinking about takes up way more of my mental energy and emotional energy than my job does. Because right now I feel like I know how to do this job, and I just show up to work and do it, and it doesn't require that much thought anymore. Maybe I'm complacent.
How much time do you think that this, how do I say this? How much longer do you think that you'll be able to do this? Are you one of those people like me that I know for a fact that at some point I'm gonna have to cut the vlog because I'm way too fucking old. You know what I'm saying? And my back, I'm just not in a track.
Oh, that day's coming for all of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I tried to stop. Like, if you would have asked me year 1, I would have said 2 years, 3 years. If you would have asked me year 3, I would have said, I don't know, maybe a few more years. And I have enough faith in myself at this point that I don't think about that too much. It would be kind of weird if I didn't think about it at all. Like, obviously, sometimes it's like, oh shit, you know, like you stress a little bit about the future and you try to imagine, like, because you also kind of have to like reinvent yourself sometimes with this thing. You can't do the same thing for 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's going to drive you fucking nuts and nobody wants to watch the same thing for 10 years. So like sometimes I try to think about like, you know who's really good at that is fucking Doc. Is so good at creatively driving his online property with purpose. Like he sits down and you can tell, like I haven't even really talked with him in depth about it, but you can just tell like he sits there and works up these ideas and he takes so many risks too. Yeah. And it's like things that could easily make him look like a fucking idiot, like if he did it wrong, but because he's so confident and creative, I'm so impressed with his trajectory in the last, like of all people in this space, I'm most impressed with his trajectory.
Well, think about it. He was too early to the game.
Way ahead of the game, yeah.
Way ahead, years ahead. Yeah. I remember telling him when we were like, when I was posting the video for him to be voted into the Machinima Premier Directorship, I remember like we posted, I'm like, don't forget about the little guys. I remember telling him that. I don't know, if I could find the message, I would tell him about it. But I remember telling him, like, don't forget about the little guys.
Yeah, you were a big fan of his right from the get-go.
Dietrich's discovered.
I'm listening.
Dietrich discovered him, and that's when I was like, what the fuck? What am I watching?
I remember you tweeted about him, and you were like, he did some work for G4 at one point, and
I didn't know that. Did he?
Yeah,
maybe I knew that.
He did like a cameo for something, I think. I don't know. He did something.
Oh, he was on G4.
He wasn't like a recurring thing.
No, he was a highlight, one of the highlight videos from the internet.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Anyway, so am I. He's definitely somebody that I'm looking forward to having on the podcast because I want to talk about it. And I don't even know how the podcast would work because on H3 he was Guy Beam.
Yeah, he didn't show up in character.
Yeah, which is cool. So I might force him to be the character just so he can be different.
That'd be kind of hard though.
Yeah,
it's easier if you're a one-man show for a character like that, I think.
Yeah,
like I think it takes a lot more energy and creativity to bounce off somebody else because it's like unpredictable. You know?
Are you thinking about what you're gonna do? Like, do you have any side projects that you're like working on aside from what you're doing? Because now you're uploading like on YouTube like what once
a week now. Yeah,
fucking lazy. What?
Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about YouTube, man. It's like YouTube is a hard platform. That is a hard platform.
How I'm still able to entertain as many people as I do, I count my blessings. I count my blessings like you have no idea. If there's one thing in this world that I have goals on, like I always told myself from a material standpoint, I always told myself, I want to have, when I'm old, I want to have a nice house, a truck, a boat, and a Lamborghini. That was always my thing. Now, as I got older, like getting to 1 million subs is like, having a gold button with my name on it is like, it will be a dream come true when it happens. I'm throwing a fucking party at the Hecz quarters. If you don't come, you're a pussy. Now, really quick, because this is going to be opened up in the future at some point. Do you agree with me that, and I'm obviously super contradicting myself here because I use that word so regularly, like it's offensive to women, right? Yeah. Because I'm essentially telling you that you're too girly.
I've tried to stop using it Actually, I had this friend way back in the day in like 2009.
Yeah.
My friend Tara. Like I was texting her about something. I'm like, this person had a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
And then she was like, Hutch, don't fucking say that. I was like, what are you talking about? She's being a pussy.
Yeah.
She was like, no, you can't say that. It's making me feel bad for having a vagina.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's a fucking pussy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It just didn't
But
compute with me back then.
I've actually stopped like super hard using it, and that.
Yeah,
and
there's nothing wrong with that either, man.
Yeah.
It's like this like sometimes PC culture goes too far, and sometimes like, but then we're talking about a real small percentage of people that take it to the sort of extreme that merits parody and satire and that sort of thing. But you know, everybody in the world isn't going to be making the same jokes they were making 10 years ago, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Like if you were alive, walking around with your parents when they were teenagers, hearing some of the jokes that they were making, it would fucking probably disgust you.
Yeah.
Because it was just such a different time. It doesn't mean that they were bad people. It just means that times change and you got to change with those times.
Yeah.
I don't see a fucking problem with that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like part of being personality on the internet is having like some kind of edge.
Yeah.
So you got to like, it's like a tightrope, you know? Like you got to like, okay, what joke is not going to be cool in like 5 years, or what joke is not going to
Now more than ever, that's become a thing. And now that I have like all the safety in the world, where if I disappear from the internet, I'm gonna live a very, very happy life no matter what. Stress is gone and all that. But I do care a lot about what my future self is gonna think of me. You know, like my family understands that, you know, what I do. And the easiest thing I've ever done was to not have sort of a personality too far removed from who I am. And I'm not saying anything about people who do that, because I think that's way harder, and I respect it fully. But I think that the easiest thing I ever did was just talk to everybody that watches me the same way that I would talk to all of my friends from high school.
Yeah.
Yet literally you're accountable for what you say, and if you're acting tough on the internet, you know, you better be tough in real life. Like that sort of commitment. Yeah. Because it's manly, Hutch, to be a tough person.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Is that all right?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm gonna do it.
No. Well, don't take that off.
I don't want him hearing what's gonna go down in that bathroom.
Well, just turn off the thing. Or no, right? Leave it on. You gotta take a shit?
There's a situation over here, man.
Guys, do you still have stomach problems?
No, it's a bit better now. You might smell what just came out of me just there.
I better not, Hutch. You're holding in that shit the whole time.
The whole time, dude.
Why didn't you just go shit before?
Because I didn't want to interrupt you. No, because it didn't hit me until we started talking.
About what?
Immediately, as soon as we started talking,
You
I'm like,
should've
oh
just started.
shit.
Anyway, so we're back from the break. Hutch had to go feed the toilet.
I feel better.
Hutch,
a lot better.
So the projects that we were talking about, anything in the works?
So yeah, like I've been just like these days I've been just trying to think about I've been taking inspiration from certain people and trying to think about how to like approach the stream stuff or whatever content I do with a little bit more like purpose, like a deliberate nature, to varying degrees of success. Like I'm still figuring it out, but it's a fun process. Like I feel like I'm way better at the stuff that I do than I was before. So no specific side projects.
Can I tell you what you should do?
I want to actually go to culinary school, man. Like I want to learn how to be like a proper chef. Like that's one thing I want to do.
If you make videos about it, yes, I'm all about it, because I think there's a need. Like I try to get Fwiz to do a cooking show. I want to do a cooking show called El Chefe. It's a good name.
It's pretty good.
Thank you. And I think that this is what if I'm your manager, I would beg that you do a podcast. The fact that Act the Bunny Foo Foo like shit the bed on Podcast and Chill, I was so fucking pissed, because again, I allocated.
Tell them that you're joking.
I'm joking. It was Hutch.
Well, it's not.
Anyway, Podcast and Chill used to be this like incredible podcast, and I loved it because I'm like, oh shit, you know, I like movies. I watch a lot of movies, especially now that I have a theater. I watch a lot of independent films. I watch a ton of shows. I mean, lately I haven't been anything.
You should watch Roman Empire on Netflix.
Is it good? Almost as good as Rome?
It's not. It's like a they interview historians, and then they interstitch like dramatic reenactments. It's like really high production value, super interesting. The first season was about Commodus, I believe, and the second season, first season was about Julius Caesar. The second season was about Commodus, which is Joaquin Phoenix's character in Gladiator.
Yep.
I didn't even fucking realize that was a real guy and that like he actually did fight in a gladiator arena. And then the third one was about Caligula, and his sister Agrippina gave birth to Nero. So I think they're gonna do Nero next, and it's just so fucking.
It's like Narcos, but Rome.
Well, if Narcos had like actual historians, like,
of course,
then
it's loosely based on actual true events, and I've seen a lot of crossover in that. Have you watched El Chapo in Spanish, the Univision one?
No,
it's so good.
I'm waiting for Narcos El Chapo. Yeah.
I should have done that, but it's just so far down the line that I don't know. I don't think that it'll affect it, because the way that they told this one, like. Was
Narcos Mexico?
The Mexican one. No, not Narcos Mexico. The El Chapo story.
Well, that was in Narcos Mexico.
Yeah.
He was like El Chapo was a part of it, but he wasn't like the central part.
Correct.
Of it. But it teased that they're going to be doing him next.
Yeah. I didn't like his character. If Netflix was, bro, I don't even know if this guy. It is because this guy doesn't speak English. Maybe was Narcos in Narcos Mexico in Spanish or English?
Well, both. It was in both.
Yeah, but like the main characters, did they speak in Spanish? Yeah, they did.
The main drug dealers spoke in Spanish.
Yeah.
but the cops.
So it would have been perfect for this one dude, because the El Chapo from the Univision show may not be as good an actor as this guy is going to be, but he looks exactly like El Chapo, and it is amazing.
I just passed by because I thought it looked like a budget kind of like a.
It is, but it is fucking good. And
I might watch it then.
You should, because you speak a little bit of Spanish.
Just a little bit. Automatic cat feeder.
So you don't do that either.
Esme feeds him in the morning.
Yeah.
And then
I say that with tongue in cheek, because I cannot tell you when it was the last time I prepared any sort of something that isn't a treat.
Jude feeds the dogs every morning. What time does she wake up to feed him every morning?
Like at 9:30.
Oh, that's not too bad.
She goes to bed like super late.
Esme gets up to go to work like at 7:30 or whatever. So what's
your schedule like? When do you sleep?
I wake up usually I wake up like around like 8 to 10, and then I'll check the news. I'll smoke a little bit of weed. I'll go back to bed, and I wake up and I make my breakfast, and then read some more news, get some chores done, fire up the stream, get a Twitter clip up if I'm doing a YouTube video, and then I make dinner.
Yeah.
She does a lot of the chores, but I try to be the one that makes dinner every night, and so she gets off work anytime between like 6:30 and 8:30, depending on if she's going to the gym that day. So then I make dinner, and then if I have energy, then stream again, and if I don't, then hang out with her, watch movies, a show, whatever.
You've done a really good job of taking time off. You know what I'm saying? Like you are unapologetically comfortable with saying, I don't feel like it today, guys, I'm taking a day off.
I try not to do that too often. Like I did that too much before, and then these days I actually like I feel like I work quite a bit compared to some other people like yourself, maybe not so much, but 6 days a week, I try to, I'm 6 days a week I work, and whereas before I'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna take the next 4 days off, go get an Airbnb with Esme and just like not do anything. And I don't think you can get away with doing that too much.
No.
Like you can't do that long term.
Not on Twitch. Twitch to me seems like the toughest job in gaming, because you live and die by how often you stay in gaming entertainment.
Well, I think it's easy. I think it's easier for me. I think it's easier than trying to make like a funny YouTube video.
Really?
So even though you're putting more time into it, like you're putting 4 or 6 hours into a stream, like it's less like creative energy, and it's easier to bounce off the chat. It's easier to bounce off the people that you're playing with. So to me, it's less stressful. But like we just went to Hawaii for a week. It was the first time I took like a week off since like 2015 or 16, so like a few years.
Yeah.
And that was kind of hard. So like the longer I'm in it, the more anxiety I get about taking time off. But sometimes I wake up like, I don't know about you, like I'm not accountable to people the way that you are.
Yeah.
So like I don't have like a Matt or a people following me around that rely on me for income and direction and stuff like that. So if I wake up on a Tuesday and for whatever reason I'm in a fucking shit mood and I feel like I have no gas in the tank, and if I hit start streaming, I know it's going to be a bad stream. I would rather just take that day off and then work Saturday that I normally take off. So like switch my day off around, I just need to decompress. So I think it's important to do that. Like, again, realizing that people like you can't do that. But if you're like an individual creator, I think like burnout is real.
Yeah.
It is a real fucking thing. It has happened to everyone that I know in this field at some point. They just hit like emotional rock bottom. And they feel like they're terrible at their jobs. They feel like no one's ever going to watch them anymore. And they just get consumed with fear and stress. And so I've learned to make sure that I'm doing enough maintenance, personal maintenance, to not go back to that, because burnout sucks.
Yeah.
Is the worst thing.
Yeah. I agree. And I do, it does bother me sometimes, and I don't even consider that people are like accountable to me in that regard. Like when you says like, Maddie's paycheck comes from my success, I never computed, that's what I've done it for, you know what I'm saying? Like
that would stress me the fuck out if I was responsible for this.
He's 22.
Yeah.
I was almost bankrupt by 28. He'll be okay. Okay, I still made it out alive. He'll be fine. But
if you fuck up royally, he's fucked.
No,
well, he's not fucked.
No, he's 22.
Seems like a smart guy. He'll figure it out.
He'll be fine. Maddie will be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be okay.
Is he that bright though? Because he.
Say it?
What?
Say it again?
Is he that bright though? Is he?
Yeah. Okay. He's a good-looking chap, so I can see why you would say that.
He seems slow.
He slays. No.
He slays. Oh, I'm just playing.
I walked in here and I told him, Matt, do not fucking embarrass me. Wait, what was the one of the first things I told him? For me it was jokingly, but obviously he never really interacted with me. It was just like, I told him, like, listen, you're gonna be around a lot of people that you may have seen on the internet. Do not fucking embarrass me. And I said it like, did you think I was serious when I said that?
Yes and no.
Yeah, but to me it was just like something that make people uncomfortable for the good thing. I really want. I mean it, man. If you do a podcast, it would be fucking amazing.
Dude, I would love to. I would love to. I can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
And I can't be in charge of it. Like I just can't. So like if I found like I would want somebody that I disagree with, but it doesn't get like mean.
Yeah.
Like it can get heated, but.
So it's like Umu relationship.
Yeah, something like that, but I would want someone that I could bounce off of, that I don't, that's not too similar to me. But then I don't want to be in charge of the thing. Like I want to have someone be like, okay, you show up at 2 p.m. and you sit there.
Down. So sort of like today, where we came here.
This is perfect for podcasting. It's just, and maybe if it was like 10 years ago, I would have like had all the energy and hunger to just fucking do it all myself. But again, like after a couple times burning out, like I know to place certain limitations on myself.
So I got help. Obviously he's here, and I now that I see that I see how much easier my life is. I'm like, I don't know why I didn't do it before. And don't get me wrong, like even nowadays when I don't edit my vlog, I kind of feel like I kind of see the way that he puts it together, and I'm just like, oh, I could be so much better.
You're silly.
Maybe not from a color correction and like a technical editing standpoint.
I can't believe you edited your own vlog for as long as you did.
2 years.
Fucking nuts, dude.
I know, and I just couldn't bring myself. And then the other reason that I wanted to bring Maddie is because when talking to Gary V, it's my boy.
Who?
Gary V. The fuck, Gary Vaynerchuk. Don't be that. Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't believe you.
Is this sports?
Yeah, he's the owner of the Jets.
Oh, that seems significant.
Yeah. So anyway, he. I wanted Maddie to follow me along with like all the investments that I'm doing right now and all the different businesses. I had like 3 different like vodka companies come and pitch where we're at to see if we would invest in them. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know where I would fit this sort of content in there, or what sort of things we're allowed to record. So my mentality the whole time was like, I'm gonna get Maddie. I'm gonna invest in myself now that OpTic's in good hands. I'm gonna invest in myself, and I'm gonna do this, and the other, and I'm gonna bring Maddie along to my meetings, and it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fucking great. And obviously that didn't happen for many different reasons, but one of the main reasons I got him was because of that. And the worst, and you used to tell me, it's like, why do you do it by yourself? Why do you do it by yourself? Like, get a helper, because you had, who does your highlights?
Her name's Carissa.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's I don't really know her too well. I met her one time at the OpTic event, maybe a couple times actually. But yeah, she helps me with that stuff. Yeah.
So even to today, people are like, my business partners and people that I know are like, you need an assistant, because you cannot believe, and I cannot believe how many times somebody walks in the door. Remember just recently, like yesterday before we left, somebody walks in the door, and in my head I'm like, holy fuck, did I schedule this meeting? Because we were 10 minutes away from leaving to here. And this dude walks in, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, hey. He's like, hey, I just wanted to stop by. I'm like, thank fucking God, because we gotta go.
Oh, you know who helps me a lot is Esme.
Yeah?
A lot. Like a lot.
Yeah.
She has made my life so much easier.
Yeah?
So, yeah.
Do you pay her?
Yeah. And we have an arrangement.
Okay.
I don't
not physical.
I don't want to get into that. Leave that private.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, Jude has, she's like the saint. Like, none of this would be possible if she didn't have my back, and not only from a business perspective, but from a partner's perspective. So it would have been really easy for her to be like, no, you can't travel with all these hoochie woochies throwing themselves at you. And look, you know what I'm saying? look at this. I'm 39.
You got the goods. Nobody can take that away from you. Yeah.
So yeah. So all right. Anyway, listen. Podcast and chill. What would you call if you were to create a show that was around reviewing shows the way we're doing right now? Game of Thrones. I think you would have been perfect for one of the guests. In fact,
yeah, it'd be fun.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe
you guys look like you guys are having fun with it.
Yeah,
which is good.
Which we are. The thing is that Hitch is such a fan of the show that I need, we need somebody like him to correct everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. And the beauty about that series, and I'll get to the question. The beauty about the series that we're doing right now is that it's gotten me more in love with Game of Thrones than I was before, because I've actually taken the time and just
like real detailed lore. Yeah. Like, we just rewatched the whole series leading up to this, and it's just like, I've rewatched it like 4 times. Every time I rewatch it, I connect more dots. I'm like, oh, that's that. Yeah. That's that person's uncle that we saw like fucking 3 seasons ago.
Yes.
So you develop a whole new appreciation. It's impossible to take it all in the first time you watch it, I think.
No, it's not. No, and it's not a bad thing, but no. So, for example, did you know that Drogon was named after Khal Drogo?
Yeah, I did know that.
Did you know that Viserion was named after her brother?
Yeah.
And did you know that Rhaegal was named after her older brother?
Yeah.
You did know that. I didn't know that until just recently.
Me too. But because I hang out with people, we do viewing parties, and Esme's read all the books as well, so she's able to kind of fill in all the stuff that I missed.
I haven't read none of those fucking books.
They're long, though.
And I don't think I want to.
That thick, man.
Yeah. Anyway, Hutch, please find a way to do a podcast. I do appreciate you, man. I think I could talk to you for hours on end, dude.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we would talk for like another 2 hours, but no, okay. This was a lot of fun.
Well, no, since you said that, like your time. No, I'm kidding. It was good. I appreciate it, man. Truly. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, all his information is gonna be down below. He has a semi-nightly stream, right?
6 days. 6 days
a week. He takes days off. Must be nice. But no bullshit. Thank you, man. You're one of my favorite people in this world.
Let me just say in front of your people, I don't tell you this enough, man. I'm so proud of you for everything that you've done in this space.
Like what?
Like, I'm getting like emotional right now. But knowing you for 10 years and watching everything that you've done has been really cool to watch play out. And I'm very happy for you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That I'm still your friend. Don't apologize. It's good. It's good. Anyway. We'll see you guys on the next one. All the information down below. Again, huge shout out to our sponsors for taking the time to believe in us. We're going to be at RTX. So if you guys haven't gotten your tickets, there is Rooster Teeth. Did you know that we're going to be there?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we're going to be I'll give you guys more details because it's still up in the air. But we're gonna be doing a live podcast from there. And if you guys buy tickets, use code Hecz, get a discount, and we'll see you there. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna bring Maddie. He's gonna bring stickers and shirts and a whole bunch of stuff to give away for Freezy, my dudesies. We'll see you guys in the next one.